Hello ladies and gents, good evening to you, and as we begin our churchyard tour, we begin with the Vicarage, built in 1665, the third oldest building in Barking Village, built the year of the Great Plague. And as most vicarages in those days, it's quite large because a lot of vicars had big families back then. But yeah, we shall begin our churchyard tour now. Church of St Peter and St Paul. This churchyard has been active since the 13th century, right up until the 1950s. So, yeah, it's been an active one. A large part of the churchyard is now used as, or reserved over as nature reserve, so only part of it is well kept, although it does all look very well kept. Because some students cleaned it up before Remembrance Day. Here we go past the cross keys, which I have just covered. I covered that before I did the churchyard tour. Thought a couple of beers might warm me up, but it's freezing out today. It is very cold. Grand Street, and here you see is all that remains of the old original Barking Village. Here is the church. I don't know how many parts this will be in, but I should imagine it will be in several parts. Here lies the faithful remains of Anne, second daughter of Lieutenant Colonel Joseph Harrison. And she died, obit, 12th of January 1828, at age 62. Also Thomas Cutler, husband of the above, can't make out when he died. He was of this parish. Oh, died December something. December the 28th, 1845. Some of the graves are really well preserved in this churchyard, I've noticed. Mary Warren Boulton, Boulton, late wife of William Warren Boulton of this parish, farmer, who died September the 2nd, 1835, aged 40 years. Also of two of their children, William and Hester. Also of Walter, who died August something, the bit's blistered away there at the end, 1837, aged 40 years. Also to the above, Mr. William Boulton, who died June the 21st, 1861, aged 61 or 64 years. And the rest of it's gone, I'm afraid. Here, look, you've got entrance to vault. Mr. Arnold, Esquire. So there'll be a vault under there somewhere, and its entrance. This is the Fanshawe vault. Fanshaws of Valence House. Quite a few of those are buried in this one. As you can see, it's a bit the worse for wear. very, very cold today, I must admit. I won't cover every single grave in the churchyard because it would take us a very long time. But here is a rather impressive vault, I must admit. All bricked up. Look, that'll be your entrance into the vault. So when they needed new people to go in there, they'd unbrick that and down they'd go inside. These graves here, also the body of Mr. Christopher Tyler, who died January the 25th, 1803, aged 31 years. Also the body of Mr. John Tyler, who died January the 20th, 1858 or 9, aged 90 years. That's a good age. You see you have a double one there. That's 17th or 18th century inscription, long gone. And another Tyler one here in memory of H-A-R-B Harbeth, daughter of Christopher Tyler. And that's worn out pretty much. But you've got also of Louisa Tyler of Ford Lodge, youngest daughter of Christopher and Deborah Tyler. So that's what that will say, Christopher and Deborah Tyler. Wybridge Hornchurch, died on the 25th of December 18. The year's gone. And it's aged 21 years. These are all pretty much worn away. There would have been inscriptions on that side. You can just see the faint outlines of them, but they are worn away. As I say, we won't cover every single grave in the churchyard because it would take a very, very long time. Under here, I was interestingly told, under this lump here, which you can't really see that well, but it is quite a big depression, like a big bump, is the charnel house under this great big stone. That's where the bones of the dead would have been put when they charnelled the churchyard to make room for new dead people. And I must admit, it's utterly freezing today. But I've had a good day. I've done a church explore. I must admit, I'm not feeling 100% at the moment, but it's best to get out and do things while you're feeling like that. So this is what I've done. The sun will be setting soon. We'll be covering mostly Commonwealth war graves in this one, and any interesting ones that take our fancy, shall we say. As I say, this graveyard was active from the 1280s right up until the 1950s. So a long history. Many of its tombstones, gravestones, vaults are worn away, but a lot of them are not. Of Mr. John Cannon, that's pretty much who departed this life, and that's something January. And that's pretty much all you can see of that one. A lot of them are completely worn away. Sacred to the memory of Mr. Robert Haston, who died the 30th of December 1820, aged 4 years. Sorry, not Mr. Sacred to the memory of Robert Haston, aged 4 years. Also John Haston, who died 15th of December 1830, aged 12 years. Also John Haston, father of the above, who died the 4th of October 1859, aged 85 years. And as this was used up until the 1950s, some of the graves, like this white one here, are relatively recent in the scale of things. As you know, I don't cover anything after 1949, 1950, unless I have the family's permission. Which in this case I don't. These are the ones I hate, because they're almost worn away. Something grey of Romford, farmer, who departed this life March the 18th, 1835, aged 94 years. Also of Mark White, grandson of the above, who departed this life March the 19th, 1835, aged 21 years. As you found out in the church tour, the original chapel, which is this part here, which has had restoration and does look fairly modern, but it isn't. It is the original part that's been well kept and looked after. That church served mostly a farming community in its early days, so a lot of our people here are farmers. God's little acre. This is what this churchyard became known as in the Victorian era. Sorry, it started off as a 1 acre churchyard, and then come Victorian times, as the village started to grow and Dagenham started to grow, they extended it to 2 acres. And these are some of our Commonwealth war graves buried in this churchyard. 481767, Private M.H. Rudge, Labour Corps, 4th of November 1918. E.H. Knight, the Royal Fusiliers, 646848, Fusilier. E.F. Knight, sorry, not E.H. Knight, E.F. Knight, the Royal Fusiliers, 4th of May 1943, aged 27. Life goes on, but memories remain. We trust in God to meet again. As you can see, there are many, many gravestones in this churchyard because it was an active one for a long time. And on we go with our tour. Go back over to the main path because there are some interesting graves along there, and I have to watch where I'm going because this churchyard, one of the church keepers or church wardens' own words, where it's a little bit choppy, like that. Look, a great big deep hole. Imagine if you were walking along here in dark. In loving memory of in loving memory of John Sheldrake, formerly of Leighton, who died 17th of October 1919, aged 26 years. Bright is the glory now, boundless is the joy above. Where on the bosom of God he rests in perfect love. He served his country in France and Russia, only beloved son of Alfred and Helen Sheldrake. Also his sister, Lily Mary Sheldrake, who died 18th of January 1939, aged 54 years, resting in the everlasting arms. So this young man would likely have been wounded or injured in the war and died the year after it ended. I was told as well by the church warden that there are several war graves in here that aren't Commonwealth war graves, they're private family graves. And we're going to come to some of our most interesting ones. This is if you watched the Valence House Museum, you'll have seen the thing on George Clark. Sacred to the memory of George Clark, late police constable of K Division of the Metropolitan Police. He was inhumanely and barbarously murdered in a field at Eastbrook End in this parish whilst on duty on the night of the 29th or the morning of the 30th of June 1846, aged 20 years. His uniform good conduct gained him the respect of all who knew him, and his melancholy end was universally deplored. There's rumours that George here was about to uncover the corruption of a fellow officer, and that fellow officer murdered him. And the murder has never been solved to this day. This tribute of respect was erected by the inhabitants of this parish and his brother officers of the K Division of the Metropolitan Police. An unsolved, to this day, Victorian murder mystery. Our next interesting grave, and I've looked everywhere online about this and can find nothing, which is quite unusual. Ronald Sidley Whatley, Florence Louisa Ivy Letton, Ronald Harold Victor, all died on the 9th of October 1925. Ronald Sidney Whatley was aged 3 years, Florence Louisa Ivy Letton was aged 3 years, and Ronald Victor Knight was aged 4 years. Ronald, the first one, our little flower gone to bloom in the garden of God. Florence's, lost a while, treasured love gained forever safe above. And our second Ronald is one of God's fair flowers, sweet blooming above. So I can find nothing on this grave online, but it's a mass grave and they all died on the same day, so they either died of some disease or something like that. So yeah. In memory of Hannah, the beloved wife of William Boyton, died December the 21st, 1865, aged 72 years. Also the above, William Boynton, born 1800, died 1876. In loving memory of Eliza Price, departed this life January the 5th, 1906, aged 50 years. For she has treasures greater far than east or west unfold, and her rewards more precious are than all the stores of gold. In loving memory of Alfred Price, the beloved husband of the above, who departed this life May the 24th, 1931, aged 81 years. There shall I bathe my weary soul in seas of heavenly rest, and not a wave of troubled roll across my care-filled breast. There are some very old vaults along here. I was told this one had railings on, and a few of the really old ones had railings on, and those railings were taken away in the Second World War as part of the war effort. Sacred to the memory of Sarah Lanier Gray, wife of Alfred Gray, who was WONTS farm in this parish, who once farmed in this parish, who died the 24th of July 1857, aged 20 years. And you've got also Alfred Gray, born April the 4th, 1829, died October the 15th, 1911. Also Victoria something Gray, and the rest of it just starts to wear away from there, I'm afraid. God's Little Acre, Wildflower Meadow. This is the bit that was extended in the Victorian era, this bit along here that we can see. Oh, he fell over then. in memory of Frederick W. Dorrington, sometime chorister, Dagenham Parish Church, accidentally drowned 3rd of August 1912, aged 15 years, erected by his fellow choirmen, friends of the above church. The vicar, Reverend C. Harris, on, and the rest of it's gone, I'm afraid. There were some more Commonwealth War graves over this way somewhere. I forget where they were now. I have to look out for old ones, you see, because as I say, there's new ones mixed amongst these, and I won't show anything before 1949 or 50 without the family's permission. Sacred to the memory of Henry Hunsdon. Sorry, no, it's not Henry. Sacred to the memory of Mary Hunsdon, wife of Robert Hunsdon, late of this parish. Died July the 21st, and as you can see, it's all blistered away and gone. Aged 31 years. There are some more Commonwealth War graves, but there's old ones amongst them as well. Sacred to the memory of Mrs. James Miller, who died June the 23rd, 1863, aged 55. Also Eliza, wife of the above, who died March the 3rd, 1892, aged 81 years. They rest in God's own present something, because it's blistered away at the end there. Also Harriet Mead, daughter of the above, died November the 2nd, 1930, aged 75 years. Also Alfred William Mead, husband of the above, who died November the 5th, 1936, aged 81 years. So that's a private family vault. There is another one behind it here, and as I said, quite a lot of the graves here are really well preserved. Elizabeth Terry something. See, this is what I mean with some of them, they are very worn. You start reading them and it gets quite frustrating then. As the sun sets over Dagenham, we carry on with our tour. These are 18th century ones, these ones with shrouded body-shaped stones on. I'm taking us to the next batch of Commonwealth War graves in a minute. In loving memory of George, beloved husband of Louise Mary Coppin, late of Red House Farm, Little Heath, who departed this life the 28th of March 1927, aged 56 years. In the midst of life we are in death. Also of Mary Louisa Woodcock, died the 27th of March 1941, aged 67 years. Peace, perfect peace. Sacred to the memory of Mary Heath, who departed this life January the 13th or 18th, 1866, aged, that's 73 years. Also William Heath, husband of the above, who departed this life March the 11th, 1869, aged 85 years. And you've got also William George, looks like Farless, who fell asleep May the 30th, and the rest of it's all gone, I'm afraid. The family grave of David and Rebecca Brown of this parish, in affectionate remembrance of Henry Brown, the beloved son of the above, who departed this life January the 10th, 1870, in the 18th year of his age. Grieve not for me, my parents dear, your loving son lies buried here. I can no longer you befriend, but hope in heaven to meet again. Also in affectionate remembrance of the above named David Brown, who departed this life October the 24th, 1876, aged 63 years. A loving husband, a friend most dear, a tender mother, lieth here. Although great our grief, we hope to meet their happy spirit at our Saviour's feet. And they've put mother, look, instead of father. That's unusual. And Rebecca, wife of the above, who departed this life November the 20th, 1901, aged 78 years. A tender mother lieth here. Also William Brown, son of the above, who departed this life August 20th, 1904, aged 44 years. In the midst of life we are in death. Loving memory of Charles, beloved husband of James Flint, who died May the 16th, 1912, aged 63 years. Thy will be done. Also of James Flint, died December the 22nd, 1928, aged 88 years, at rest. Here, if we tread carefully, you can see how closely some of the graves are together, in loving memory of Sarah Atwell, who departed this life April the 9th, 1889, aged 69 years. Also William Atwell, brother of the above, who died suddenly April the 10th, 1889, aged 68 years, interred at Leighton Churchyard. In the midst of life we are in death. In loving memory of John, the beloved husband of M.R. Thorogood, who died 24th of October 1902, aged 32 years. Also of Edmund John, eldest son of the above, who fell in action in the Battle of Jutland, 1st of May 1916, aged 24 years. Also of Ernest Samuel, second son of the above, who fell in action, in Belgium, 6th of November 1917, aged 23 years. And then you've got also Martha Rose Thorogood, who passed away the 7th of October 1951, aged 77 years. I'll photograph this one. Lost both their sons in the First World War. The family grave of William Henry and Eliza Campbell. Catherine King, daughter of the above, who departed this life January the 16th, 1880, aged 29 years. In loving memory of George Edward Litchfield Curry, or Curie, born May the 2nd, 1839, died July the 7th, 1896. Also Arthur George Curry, son of the above. Also Arthur Curry, son of the above, born April the 10th, 1878. Died October the 20th, 1879. Also Elizabeth Curry, daughter of the above, born February the 12th, 1872, died April the 29th, 1961. In life beloved. Also of George Curry, son of the above, died February the 16th, 1912, aged 42 years. Also of Elizabeth, wife of the above, who died October the 15th, 1931, aged 90 years. Also Ethel Curry, died 26th of December 1968, aged 83 years. And this one here, of which the footstone only exists now, is marked W.M. Dixley. So that'll be the family grave of a William Dixley. Now, join me for part 2.